The Trump administration is learning a quick lesson in overstepping, as now even Republican officials are coming out against this White House. But first, just to set the stage, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, came out on Fox News in response to AOC committing the cardinal sin of informing migrants of their rights and saying this.
Tom, you got AOC out there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, putting out a webinar, doing a webinar to help illegals avoid, I guess, apprehension, giving tips about how to continue to remain in the country and ultimately game the system.
And I sent an email today to the Deputy Attorney General. At what level is that impediment? Is that impediment? I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now, but I need the AOG to opine on that. But because there's impediment is impediment, in my opinion. I'm not a prosecutor, but we need some further guidance on that. But again, if we have to take every federal dollar out of the city, we'll do it. I mean, we're done.
And AOC responded, writing, maybe she's going to be in trouble now. Maybe he can learn to read. The Constitution would be a good place to start. Which, of course, led to Homan doubling and tripling down here.
Heard you talking about AOC over the weekend. Do you believe she is breaking the law?
I'll leave that up to DOJ. What I find disturbing is that any member of Congress wants to educate people how to evade law enforcement. You can claim you're educating those constitutional rights. Okay, you can keep that claim. What she in fact is doing is telling people don't open your door, hide in your home, don't talk to ICE. We're talking about people who are in the country illegally, committed a crime, they're a public safety threat, they've been convicted of serious crime, and they've been ordered removed by a federal judge. So it's like AOC and others don't want ICE to enforce the laws that they enacted. She's a member of Congress. Let us enforce the laws you enacted. That's what we're supposed to do.
You can't go after her. Do you think others should?
No, I think I've asked DOJ, where's that line of impediment, of interference? Now, if someone stands in your way, prevents you from arresting somebody, put your hands on it, that's impediment. But what line is telling people to hide from ICE, not open the door? Where do you cross that line on impediment? So I've simply asked the Department of Justice, give us that line.
You have talked to them about this. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You know, I'm sure a free speech argument can be made. Okay, she has every right to say anything she wants. When does it cross a line into aiding and abetting law breaking? Would it have to have direct involvement by her in helping people to evade ICE?
That's exactly the question I posed to the Deputy Attorney General. I asked him to look into it. I says, I know through my career, someone steps in front of you, in between you and the person you're arresting or repeating. Yeah, that's a violation. But at what point do you cross the line on saying you're educating people versus you're teaching them how to evade ICE arrest? So I've asked that question to the Department of Justice for clear guidance so I can share that with the officers of ICE. So we're looking for that clear direction so we can start taking action on people that want to evade, who want to help educate these people to evade ICE. So hopefully any day now we get that guidance sent out to the field.
Which prompted this response from AOC. I am glad Mr. Homan is checking with the Department of Justice to familiarize himself with the limits of his agency's authority in entering the homes of everyday Americans without a warrant. And I am proud to offer civil education to everyday Americans to ensure ICE's compliance with the law, given the numerous reports of agents providing incorrect paperwork in their attempts to enter and search private homes. Since Mr. Homan seems to be vaguely familiar with U.S. immigration law, we also remind him that according to congressional statute, becoming undocumented in the United States is a civil offense and not a criminal one. I look forward to continuing our work in ensuring the safety of everyday New Yorkers while keeping families together. And so, at the risk of having you believe that everyone on the right agrees with Tom Homan and that this has just devolved into the usual partisan food fight, it's not. Jonathan Turley, a right-wing constitutional scholar who's basically become a validator of all things unconstitutional that Republicans want to pretend is constitutional, came out and tweeted, Border czar Tom Homan doubled down last night that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez might be prosecuted for hosting a forum on Know Your Rights for accused illegal aliens. Such a prosecution would be an assault on free speech rights. Now, I point to Jonathan Turley here because this is not some crunchy liberal. This guy is not out here demanding Medicare for all. In fact, he is so partisan that he's best known for arguing that Bill Clinton, a Democrat, should be impeached, while Donald Trump, a Republican, shouldn't be impeached.
Politics is history in the present tense. And that was definitely true yesterday at the House impeachment hearings. Two of the four legal scholars also offered testimony during the Clinton impeachment. And one of them was Professor Jonathan Turley, a Republican witness who framed himself as a devotee of James Madison in a time of intense rancor and rage. Turley was an outspoken advocate for the impeachment of Bill Clinton back in the day. Well, he now opposes it for President Trump, saying this.
I believe this impeachment not only fails to satisfy the standard of past impeachments, but would create a dangerous precedent for future impeachments.
Dangerous precedents. Okay.
So Bill Clinton should have lost his job because of a sexual harassment issue, and yet Donald Trump should have kept his job after leveraging military assistance to Ukraine on getting dirt on his political opponent, Joe Biden. Just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. But the point is that for that guy to come out and say that Homan's position is a, quote, assault on free speech rights goes to show the extent to which the Overton window has shifted on the right. When Jonathan Turley is telling the GOP that they have lost the plot, that counts for something. And we're seeing it across the right. Elon Musk this past Sunday tweeted one of the first things Hitler did upon gaining power was apply aggressive censorship. And then a few hours later, Elon himself followed up with this. 60 Minutes are the biggest liars in the world. They engaged in deliberate deception to interfere in the last election. They deserve a long prison sentence. To claim that these people are not only becoming radicalized, but radicalized at a breakneck pace would be an understatement. Elon's words on Sunday night would be unrecognizable to Elon on Sunday afternoon. They don't even realize that they themselves are the very thing they purport to want to fight against. So we'll hear Republicans wail about the weaponization of government and the assault on free speech and censorship, but the reality is that these complaints are just projection. They are there to offer plausible deniability for Republicans who know full well that far from being the victims of a weaponized government, they are perpetuating it. That is the asymmetry between the two parties at play. That while Republicans find themselves in the fetal position crying about being attacked, they are the very people creating the very reality that they claim to be so afraid of. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.